go with the news for the 11th of March 2018. The unique article from my phone is from the Reuters. And here we go. Austria plans to put immigration and borders at heart of EU presidency. Austria plans to use its presidency for the European Union this year to shift the bloc's focus away from resettling refugees within the EU and towards preventing further waves of arrivals. Chancellor Sebastian Kurz said on Friday. Kurz is governing in coalition with anti-immigration Freedom Party, making Austria the only Western European country to have a far-right party in government. This follows an election last year dominated by Europe's migration crisis. Austria will take over rotating 6-month presidency of the European Union in July, giving it an important say in settling the agenda in many meetings between member states. The bloc has been bitterly divided over immigration, and eastern members like Poland and Hungary refuse to take in their share of refugees under a resettlement system. Kurz, an immigration hardliner, has pledged to use his good relations, particularly with Hungary, to bring the two sides closer. Our aim is very clear that in Europe there should not only be a dispute over redistribution of refugees, but also a shift of focus towards securing external borders, Kurz told a news conference outlining Austria's priorities for the presidency, which it will take over from Bulgaria. Hungary, Poland, Slovakia and the Czech Republic have repeatedly rebuffed requests from Brussels and Western EU states to host some of the hundreds of thousands, mostly Muslim refugees, that has streamed into the EU since 2015. The bitter row has undermined trust between the bloc members and weakened their unity. Austria has moved from calling on the Eastern Europeans to carry their share of the burden under Kurz, criticising the debate on quotas and calling a new system altogether. Kurz has said there is no point arguing over the current system of quotas because Eastern states refuse to accept them. He has argued in favour of a system in which migrants rescued in the Mediterranean are returned to Africa rather than brought to Europe, and pledged a stop of illegal immigration altogether. Protection of borders will not solve the migration question, but decisive question is what happens to people after their rescue, so they are brought to Central Europe, or they are taken back to the country of origin or other safe region where they can be provided for, he said. When they asked for what solution he had in mind, he said expanding the mandate of Frontex, the EU border agency, was one option, but there were others, and it would depend on talks with the leaders at an event at the Summit on Migration and Security on September the 20th. Other priorities Austria has set itself include promoting Europe's competitiveness and working towards EU accession for Balkan countries, particularly Serbia and Montenegro, he said. Kurz added that he also hoped the bloc would make progress in ensuring internet companies like Facebook and Google pay more tax on profits in their countries where those profits are made, he said. End of article, end of part 1. Here we go with part 2 in BBC News UK. Sorry if I get anything wrong. Land National Trust cream tea advert sparks outrage. Wrong cream tea sparks angry outcry. King's Cross station closed amid pro-Kurdish demonstration. Salisbury nerve agent risk. Public Health England publish the following advice to people who were to the two contaminated locations. Manchester railway station reopens after about 100 protesters stormed railway lines. Thank God I wasn't here. TfL bans pro-France Brexit adverts from tube stations. Salisbury nerve agents. BBC understands it was found on and around the table where Sergei and Yulia Skripal sat at the pizzeria last Sunday. A table and other items have been safely destroyed, but full precautionary decontamination work inside the restaurant could take weeks. Momentum chief John Landsman drops Labour General Secretary bid. Restaurant warned Chancellor over damaging closures. Brexit order leave voters nostalgic of White Britain, saves cable. Gavin Davidson in Fisher's control call. Union urges Ford to make electric move. Salisbury District Hospital says the condition of Sergei and Yulia Skripal remains critical but stable. Deputy Sergeant Nick Bailey remains in serious condition. Anyone who has contact with trace of the agent found in the location is not currently at risk, but there is theoretically a risk that prolonged exposure to the trace agent could harm health. Jenny Hayes, Public Health England rigorous analysts of last few days have shown some limited contamination in the Mill Pub and Suzu Pizzeria. Chief Constable Pritchard says the scope of investigation has reached from the local to the global. Fans of British players during West Ham's defeat by Burnley at the London Stadium. Labour to boycott Russia today, says John McDonnell. We're not out of austerity tunnel yet, says Chancellor Philip Hammond. Salisbury diners told to wash processions. Up to 500 Salisbury pub goers and diners told to wash processions and as precautions after nerve agent traces found. Rector Martin Frower struck off for filming teeny toilet. A lot of it is about the poisoning, nerve agent poisoning of Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia. China's President Xi Jinping could stay in power for life after Parliament approves measures to change the constitution. Norwood stabbing, boy 14 charged with murder. Janet Brown murder, more than 300 suspects ruled out. Regulated to quiz water firms over shortages. Winter Paralympics, GB skiers win Super G silver and bronze. Man restrained by police in Lewisham dies. Would have questions about that. Anti-Islamic letters probed by terror police. End of BBC News UK. Starting off with something grim. Putin ordered plane to be downed in 2014. It's just a little bit curious as is Putin. Russia's President Putin ordered shooting down a passenger plane that was possibly carrying a bomb and targeting the opening of the 2014 Sochi Winter Olympics, he says in a new film. It was a 2-hour film posted online. Mr. Putin says he was told a plane from Ukraine to Turkey had been hijacked as the games were about to start. It was later found to be a false alarm and no action was taken, Mr. Putin says. The film comes ahead of the election. He is expected to win on the 18th of March. Mr. Putin faces 7 challenges, but none are expected to attract widespread support. And the most prominent opposition leader, Alexei Navalny, has been barred from standing. I was told a plane en route from Ukraine and Istanbul was seized. Captors demanded landing in Sochi, Mr. Putin says in a film Reuters reported. The pilots of a Turkish Pegasus airline Boeing 737-800 flying from Kharkiv to Istanbul with 110 people on board said passengers had a bomb and they told them to divert the plane to Sochi, reporter Andrei Kondrashov says. In a film, Mr. Putin says security officials told him that an emergency procedure in such a situation was to down the plane. I told him act accordingly to the plan, Mr. Putin says. Minutes later, he received another call incoming that the plane is a false alarm, he says. He arrived at the Olympic venue in Sochi with Olympic officials shortly afterwards, he says. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov has confirmed Mr. Putin's account, Reuters reported. The first part of a documentary entitled Putin has been posted on social media accounts, including one belonging to key state media manager and commentator Dmitry Kiselyov, a pro-Kremlin YouTube account. What else does Mr. Putin say? In the film, Mr. Putin says that he may forgive some things, but not everything. When asked by Mr. Kondrashov, a top state TV presenter and currently Mr. Putin's press secretary, to clarify, we cannot be forgiven, the Russian leader says betrayal. However, Mr. Putin says he has not yet had to deal with serious events that can be called betrayal. Maybe I have chosen people who are not capable of doing such a thing, he says. Putin's grandfather was a cook for Stalin. Russian president's paternal grandfather works for a chief at former leaders Vladimir Lenin and Joseph Stalin, Mr. Putin says. Spiridon Putin was highly regarded by members of Stalin's staff, Mr. Putin says. He was a cook at Lenin's and later at Stalin's. At one of the Dakas in the Moscow area, Mr. Putin says, Reuters reported. Spiridon Putin cooked for the Soviet establishment until not long before his death in 1965 at the age of 86, the film says. I'm not sure whether to believe that it was, so I can kind of saying yes, maybe. Just a little questioning the legitimacy of everything a little bit. Martin Selmayr, the man at the heart of the Brussels saga. Trump-North Korea meeting. US knows the risk, says spy chief. Missing Spanish boy Gabriel Cruz found dead in car. Iran plane crash. Turkish private jet catches fire. I think around the Shah Yakud area. National rally. Le Pen proposes a new party name for the National Front. Black Panther film, game-changing movie takes $1 billion. Eastern Ghouta Mattis warns Syria of weaponized gas. Deadly plane, Russia state TV today summarised Britain poisoned Sergei Skripal. The only British stand to benefit to feed the Russophobia and engineer international boycott of the World Cup. Colombia election, former rebel face first ballot. Rwanda Seventh-day Adventist churchgoers killed by lightning. And doubtful of that as well. Russia test fires hypersonic Kinzhal missile. A packed-out rally looked and felt like the start of the presidential campaign. Trump announced that his 2020 re-election campaign slogan would be "Keep America Gay, Great!" exclamation point. As in the actual word for instead of just an exclamation point. Trump's not so new election slogan. Climbing Mount Everest while doing kicky uppies. Quite an achievement if he does actually succeed. Further music, the festival with iced instruments. Priya Varia, the actress who once stopped India. Trump North Korea talks could bring world's greatest deal. Bono apologises after one charity hit by bullying allegations. Fukushima's long road to recovery. I think look at Chernobyl and how that's still recovering. People are trying to stop celebratory shooting. Finland's Downs model Materia makes strides on catwalk. The stormy Donald Trump story explained. 5 women, 5 countries, 5 babies. I think I mentioned this in the one I posted today, but it was yesterday I think it was. Miami nightclub shot over horse stunt. It's like the best thing you can see here all year. Bolivia unfurls world's biggest flag row with Chile. I'm gonna say end of part 2. End of part 2, end of video. I'll probably be laughing 10 times over because of that horse stunt. See you all tomorrow.